Hi everyone. I want to tell you about one of my absolute favourite books when it comes to vintage makeup. And this is Compacts and Cosmetics, Beauty from the Victorian Times to the Present Day by Madeleine Marsh. And there are definitely bigger books, I guess, and more informative just about powder compacts. But I love this book because it gives you a really great overview of every different era and every decade, and it's just full of great photographs as well, so all the different sort of makeup that was around at the time. And because Madeleine Marsh wrote this as a historian, it's very much about women's lives and what women were doing and why, you know, politically what was going on and socially what was going on and culturally what was going on and how that relates to makeup. So if you read this book, it not only gives you a history of cosmetics, it also gives you the history of women. And it's just fascinating. I just absolutely love it. And as a makeup artist, it's so great to see this sort of and read about the sort of makeup that everyday women were wearing and the trends, and it's great. Anyway, I went to a book launch about 6 months ago, and there was a woman there that had an amazing dress on, a vintage Christian Dior dress that I was admiring. And I had quite bright lipstick on, red lipstick, and she was admiring my lipstick. Anyway, it turned out to be Madeleine Marsh who had written this book. And we got chatting, and obviously I was completely bowled over by her because I know that she has this amazing collection of vintage clothes and also vintage makeup. So we swapped numbers, and I stalked her a bit, and I asked her if I could go and visit her and look at her makeup. And she has a huge room just full of all the makeup, and all the different eras are on different shelves. Not only does she have the makeup, she has all the advertising, all the posters, all the paraphernalia as well, not just makeup but beauty treatments and hair accessories and everything from the Victorian era to the present day. And I spent the whole day there with her and looking at her makeup and really learning from her, and I just found it so interesting, and I took a camera with me, and here's a little bit of what happened. So Madeleine, tell me, how did you get into all of this?
I've collected vintage fashion since I was about 18. I bought my first vintage dress. I'm a writer and a historian specialising in antiques and collectibles, and I've always been really interested by the history of women. And vintage makeup is sort of history that you can hold, that you can smell, and that you can touch. And I think it really makes our past come to life.
It really does. I'm just admiring some of your bits here. This looks like quite early stuff. Is this your Victorian collection?
Well, when I wrote my book, I really began with the Victorian lady, which in a strange way is an odd place to start, because the Victorian lady was not supposed to wear makeup. A bit of rouge, anything on your lips, and you're a tart. So the Victorian ladies, they didn't have makeup. But if you think about the fashion of the day, for the Victorian woman, fashion was a real prison with your corset, umpteen petticoats,
fainting all over the place.
Yeah, gloves, hats, yes, fainting the whole time. Your dressing table. So whereas now we've got our sort of, moisturisers, whatever. The Victorian dressing table was full of items to do with getting dressed, which was a long, laborious process which couldn't be managed without a maid. And if there's one item which for me sums up the misery of Victorian dress, it's this.
What is that? Because that looks lethal.
Right, well, you open that up, top comes off, tap it, powder comes out. This is a Victorian glove powderer, because a lady's gloves were so tight that they couldn't be worn without that, which went in tandem with one of those, which is the glove stretcher.
Right.
So you powder the gloves, you stretch them. What a performance. But also, every bit of your body is constricted. And there are Victorian accounts of shaking hands with Victorian ladies, and their hands are like that. A little twisted claw. No makeup, but huge amounts of skincare.
Right.
It's when you get the development of the great big companies like Pond's, Vaseline, and what all skincare promises to do is to give you a lily white skin.
Right.
Because if you've got a touch of sunburn or, heaven forfend, a freckle, you are a member of the working classes. The less you did to your face, the more you did to your hair. By the 1860s, we were the biggest importers of false hair in Europe.
Really?
And I have here, this is about 1890.
Oh my god!
You can
it's
see
got the little clip and
yeah,
everything, just like modern day.
Just like modern day,
extensions.
made from real human hair.
Wow!
Huge amounts of hair. If you look at some of the pictures here, these
Yeah,
are
the
these are
Gibson girls.
Edwardian, the Gibson girls.
Yeah.
Huge piles of hair.
It's so sort of modern in a way because all the
So
extensions, the clip-in extensions.
Yes,
and
exactly. That's what it was the version of, and it spawned a whole industry. So no
Yeah.
makeup for the Victorian lady, but lots of fashion, lots of hair.
Well, I don't think I'm liking being. I don't know. I want to be a Victorian lady. It all sounds a little bit too torturous, and there's not enough makeup, quite frankly. So, what do you have in the 20s? What is exciting and what's fun?
Well, let's think about the 20s lady, because World War One changed everything, including the lives of women. During World War One, women had jobs because men had gone off to the front, so it was the women who were driving the omnibuses, the women who were, working the farms. After the war, they got the vote. And they also embraced new freedoms. I think we should start with a dress, because you put your frock on before you put your then you do your makeup to go with your frock. This is the classic 20s flapper dress.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Victorian lady,
Yeah.
she was in. After the war, we cast off our corsets in favour of a straight up and down line. All that endless curly hair, we
Chopped
cut it,
off, yeah.
we chopped it, we used, I do have some sort of shaving thing, so you could shave right up the back of our neck.
Wow.
Short skirts, got rid of the petticoats and revealed our ankles, first time ever, and bare arms.
Yes. And what about armpit hair and leg hair?
Wow, that's a really good point, because suddenly in the 20s, for the first time, these bits are revealed, and the moment, as women, the moment you show a bit of your body off, you worry about it. And
true.
yeah, isn't it? And the manufacturers realised that there was a fortune to be made from female insecurity, and really took advantage.
And they're still doing it
Now, I've got some great little things, because, hey, leg hair, it's a bit embarrassing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, especially if you're on a lovely night out with this gorgeous dress on, you've got a
Exactly.
big old hairy leg.
And the buzzword of 20s makeup is dainty. Every ad stresses a lady has to be dainty. And this has got to be the daintiest little shaver in the world. It takes you 3 years to shave your legs. But
It's so cute, though.
it's really minute, but also something that
Wow.
could be discreetly hidden away
because
in
you
the
might just need
bathroom.
a touch up.
I've got a wonderful illustration of a lady tweaking her legs with this. You attach 2 elastic bands over there and then sit there for 10 years rolling and
So
eventually...
sort of pulling them out like threading does.
Yes,
Yeah.
like threading. So that was one thing that was a huge difference. Lots of depilation.
Right.
And as well as depilation, because, there we are. There are these ladies, dancing the Charleston. They're playing tennis. They're running around the beaches. We're moving.
All those freedoms.
All that freedom. But we also, when you move, we get a bit bongy. And for the first time as well, you get the mass production of deodorant. I love this.
That's a beautiful package.
It's a 30s deodorant compact.
Wow.
Odor, oh no. So Odor, great name. And if you open it up inside, look.
Wow. What a gorgeous
And
colour.
even is impressed on it as well. So it's a proper little
It
compact.
just looks like a little powder compact. So you do the powder and then just powder
Yes.
under your arms. Such a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. But it also symbolises something quite less beautiful in a way that happens in the 30s, or 20s and 30s, is that you get the launch, when it comes to beauty products, of negative advertising. So rather than saying buy something because it'll make you look pretty and dainty, the ads literally say, are you smelly? Are you hairy? Do you suffer
So
from
really
unsightly
playing
sagginess?
into insecurities and
Yeah.
making women for the first time really worry about them.
But there's also fabulous freedoms, because the Victorian lady couldn't wear makeup, she couldn't smoke, she couldn't drink. What happens in the 20s? Lipstick, which you couldn't wear before, suddenly comes in every
Amazing
shade.
colour.
A million different mechanisms for the lipstick
such
as well.
lovely, the packaging is incredible.
And look at this one. You want your makeup with you at all times. So this is a bangle. Open it up. And there we are. That actually provides a little mirror. And there you could either have your lipstick or a little bit of rouge in there. In this one,
Wow.
the lipstick's hidden
Oh, that's genius. I
in
love
the
that.
hairbrush. This is a 20s Maybelline box. If we open it up, there's the mirror, there's the brush. I've got one here when the mascara block is still there. That's a really nice one, yeah. Mirror,
Wow.
block, and it's Rimmel, this one. You could buy a box of this for 10 cents.
Right, yeah. So
And that's,
anyone could.
or, you know,
get it.
sixpence.
Mm.
So cheap.
Yeah.
And what you get in the 30s, so makeup comes of age, begins to come of age in the 20s. By the 30s, thanks to Boots, thanks to Woolworths, it is genuinely affordable for everybody.
And accessible.
Yeah, and even in the Depression, you know, in the States, you know, anyone could go to a 5 and dime store. There was still a 10-cent lipstick that was going to make you feel better and could maybe help you get a job because you look like it's all back to taking care of yourself, not letting yourself
Being
go.
pulled together.
So
Wow.
that's the 30s,
Yeah.
and your makeup was on this absolutely huge up and up with more and more people wanting it, more and more people wearing it. Nothing could stop it, it seemed, except a world war.